You mad because BT is celebrating OJ? Who else gonna celebrate him?
So Faizon Love had some words. Comedian Faizon Love had some words for Stephen A. Smith based on his comments that he made about OJ Simpson and BET honoring him in their In Memoriam segment. He was asking for this, obviously.
This Stephen A. Smith, man, I don't know. Where do you niggas come from? Do they groom you niggas? Where the do you come from? You mad because BT is celebrating OJ? Who else gonna celebrate him? Are you stupid? He was found innocent, nigga. In the court of laws, the white laws.
Yeah.
But your dick nose is gonna go on talking about how, are you crazy? You would have did this, you would have did that. Where the f do you niggas come from? Where the f do you niggas come from? I've never seen some lazy house niggas. You ain't even a house nigga. You the nigga that's sucking the house niggas.
Damn.
Who the f are you niggas? That's what Kendrick's talking about. They are not like us. They are not like you. You don't talk about OJ. Nigga, are you crazy? You can't even.
That was quite a repudiation of Stephen A. Smith, but we've heard it before. We've heard it from other comedians. Of course, this Stephen A. Smith thing is so interesting because he exists in a world where I guess he doesn't check in with people on what the general consensus is of things. He just goes. He has his opinion and he says it. In sports, that works one way, which technically this is a sports issue because OJ Simpson was a football player. Let's not forget that. He was a great football player. And the fact that Stephen A. Smith can be so dismissive of him in his death, no matter what you think about what happened, like talk about his legacy from a man here that can't defend himself right now. Why would you feel this is the need? This is an issue that you need to cover, first and foremost. Not everything should be spoken of. Now, I guess he has his YouTube channel. He feels like he has to feed the machine, feed the beast. But if you haven't noticed on this channel, I take my time and I don't talk about everything that comes to mind. Why? Because you end up in situations like this. You don't get a chance to read the room. Is there ever a time where a black man is allowed to be innocent? No matter what you think about what happened with OJ and his wife, there's a lot of holes in that story. Unfortunately, it sounds like a lot of Stephen A. Smith's apprehension to honor OJ Simpson would come from fear of what white people might think. Is that a way to live? So let's take a listen to what prompted Faizon to go in like that. In this rebrand that Stephen A. Smith is doing, this internet rebrand, I guess to push a better contract at ESPN, where he can compete with some of the other talent that they're bringing in with an internet presence. Is he hurting himself even more? Does he care really what black people think of him? The irony of it, because he's talking about, did OJ care about what black people thought about him?
Black culture, black entertainment, of black excellence. And when you do something like this, you got folks outside the community see that TMZ talking about it, NBC talking about it, CNBC talking about it, CBS talking about it, USA Today talking about it, PBS, everybody but PBS.
Really?
When that kind of stuff happens, how do you think that benefits us? And that's a story that we don't get into nearly as much as we should. Did it ever occur to anybody to remind yourself of the responsibility we have. I'm not blaming any of the folks there in the audience. They didn't know. And even though PET is owned by Paramount.
Wait, he's saying people didn't know about OJ Simpson? I think everybody's familiar with it. It was one of the most highlighted moments in the media of that era. So you saying they didn't know what they were doing? I think they knew exactly what they were doing.
It's still BT. Black folks everywhere, all up in there. And that's what we celebrate. We, as a community, are going to be held accountable for that. Subliminally, subconsciously. People.
You know, it sounds like he really doesn't believe this. I don't know if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but it sounds like he's trying to go out on a limb here because he knows there's no repercussions because OJ Simpson is no longer with us, right?
Don't look at us with raised eyebrows and think as a community, oh, you down with that? You cool with that? That's what you celebrate. The collective whole is what matters. Not one individual. God rest his soul. God will deal with him because God.
That's all you could have said. Just stop there.
What he didn't do. It ain't for me to judge or anybody else to judge.
It isn't.
We saw what we saw. The trial was televised. His actions and his dismissiveness and
What exactly did you see? What exactly did you see? Because this is before the trial. The trial in which he was found innocent. The glove didn't fit. We must acquit. Shout out to Johnny Cochran, one of the greatest to ever do it. Greatest attorneys ever. I wish we had more Johnny Cochrans now. Where did all those Johnny Cochrans go? Well, unfortunately, his life was cut too short. Well, since Johnny Cochran got OJ off on this charge, I wonder what Stephen A. Smith thinks about Johnny Cochran's legacy. Should we honor him? Because Johnny Cochran was doing some very important work behind the scenes before his death.
Association and distance from the black community was self-inflicted. He created that. He wanted nothing to do with us. Where's this affinity for him?
Now, I would say, Stephen A., you don't know that. That is purely opinion. You get paid for your opinion, obviously, but you do not know what OJ's true intentions were and how much distance he wanted from the black community. He was living the life of a wealthy black man. He had married a white woman. He was living in Brentwood in Los Angeles. So the fact that you kind of made your own assumption about what OJ's heart was, when OJ comes from the hood, OJ is literally from Oakland. So are we supposed to just discount that part of himself? I mean, does a black man lose all of his self if he decides to marry and live within another race, within another socioeconomic environment?
Where's the evidence that he ever gave a about us? I just don't understand. And I think that when it comes to something like that, you got to guard against that. I'd love to know if Tia Mowry knew anything about that. Because had that been me, and they asked me to MC that segment, and I saw that OJ was a part of it, I would not have done it.
That's petty.
And
So now he's even giving criticism to the person that ended up reading this. This sounds like some kind of, I don't know, somebody else told Stephen A. to do this, but this isn't the first time that Stephen A. has talked like this. Stephen A. Smith has been consistent on his criticism of OJ Simpson going back even years ago. Oh, this is after OJ Simpson was granted parole from, I think his case right before he got released from prison for stealing back his memorabilia, which is a whole nother thing. This man's life was ruined. And as much as OJ could have complained that he was being targeted in some ways, OJ seemed never to really let it get to him.
Somebody that I believe doesn't only deserve to be in jail, he deserved to be under the jail. This man, as far as I'm concerned, is a double murderer. He's
Got
somebody
issues.
that should never, ever, ever see freedom again. Somebody that I believe doesn't only deserve to be in jail, he deserved to be under the jail.
Wow.
This man, as far as I'm concerned, is a double murderer. He's somebody that should never, ever, ever see freedom again.
Now, see, what could cause that type of vitriol? Never, ever, ever see freedom again. Like, this is something, unless Stephen A. Smith is saying that he knows something that we don't know, right? I've always heard the OJ Simpson case had a lot of different layers to it as far as who did what. Now, granted, in this era, we would have had a ring camera and some surveillance footage of the whole situation, and you'd been like, that is OJ Simpson right there with his Bruno Mali shoes on and these gloves committing a crime. But unfortunately, we didn't have that. And unfortunately, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, they have their own story that was happening behind the scenes, which could have given somebody else motive to do this crime. And I think there was enough doubt that they said, OJ Simpson is innocent. Now, when he was charged civilly and, it came down to money, it's always money with these black athletes or black celebrities that get into trouble. There's always a money component to this. They found him guilty. They found him liable, criminally liable. That isn't guilty. So for Stephen A. Smith to make such a clear proclamation, and then after OJ Simpson, actually serving time in jail, it's really odd that he's still harping on the fact that this man was guilty when you don't have definitive proof. You don't have what you think you have. So what do you all think? Do you think Faizon Love was in his right to go in on Stephen A. Smith when he's making statements like this against the dead? It's funny, he's a lot more vocal about this now that OJ is gone. Not that OJ is going to do anything. Maybe he would have, according to Stephen. He's going to come find him. He can come find him and, get to work. But yeah, what do you think in the comments? Because I tend to think that Faizon was right on point with this. If I had to listen to the two, like I said, even Stephen A.'s reading of this didn't sound 100% like it was 100% in his heart to read. And just like I say, I don't come on here and talk about everything that I want to talk about all the time. Why? There's some things, just let it go. It's an in memoriam segment for the BET Awards. Why is that pressing for you to put this out here? You just got to feed the box. I don't know. But either way, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter so you can get all the updates on the goings on Faucette Media. This is Faucette Media.